Right, I'm streaming again. How you doing? Oh, yeah. Hello, user one. Right, how's that? You go to watch it on YouTube. Oh, oops. Oh, and it's automatically gone. That's good, it's automatically. Hello, Diego Rivera. And Martin, oh, still sounds funny. Right, I don't know what to do. I do not know what to do. According to this, I'm only using one microphone. Hello, Jess Berry. Right, where were we? Tim the Pigeon Master. Right. My guess is that somehow the laptop mic is still activated. And for some reason, despite the fact that OBS, I'm only selecting one microphone on OBS. The echo still. Let me just try something else. I'm going to try something else. Properties. Right. How's that? Is that any better? I've now disabled this. Are you getting a? Let me know if that's improved. It's no bad, Ben. Okay, it's no bad. Is it? It's no bad. This is Legend Real. Is no bad. Have you got the reverb filter on or something? No. Let me just double check. Just before I begin, how's this sound now? The echo's gone, right? Good. How does this sound now? Right? I've got the microphone out the way now. Better, right? Woody Bucket's fixed it. Great. Right. For whatever reason, I don't know. Great. Whatever reason, I don't know. The webcam mic wouldn't switch off when I was using this. I've now switched off this Logitech headset mic, and so now I'm just using the webcam mic. Great. So that's probably working now. Thank you. How are you all? Are you all right? How are you getting on, guys? It's better. I'm stop being a perfectionist, says Leanne, it's fine. Oh, I do try. I'm not going to try recording this. I don't want to tempt fate by being too clever. What I'll have to do, I'll just risk it, I think. Usually when I do the recording backup, is when something will... So if, for example, YouTube in its beneficence decides to delete me because the bots think I say something politically incorrect, I've got a recorded backup. I'm just going to have to record it. Thanks, Tessa. Much better. All right, guys. I've got quite a saga to tell you, but I'm here now. You may notice a different camera angle, different kind of camera quality. That's because I'm using my laptop. I'm using my spare laptop, which I bought about over a year ago now, and I only use when I go away. But hello, Darren Hesmo. Welcome all of you. Welcome back. It seems like I've got the same characters in chat. What I'll do now is I'll just do the share around. I have managed to access my... I did manage to access my social media. Although I was camera quality, that's because I'm using my laptop. I'm using my spare laptop. That's good. Okay, so share. I did manage to sort that out. It's what happened was I got home from work today. I thought I dusted my desktop as I do every few months. I gave it a dusting. So I opened it up and got rid of all the dust inside. And just using a cloth and a little, I just blow it out, and I use a straw to blow out the dust from certain areas and things like that. I'm very careful not to mess with anything, not to unplug anything or move anything. Whenever I do this, and I've done it dozens of times, but then when I tried to switch the computer on, it wouldn't switch on. It just went beep, boop, and then it just started, and then nothing came up on the monitor, and it wouldn't make any more noises, so that was the end of it. I'm going to have to take it in for repairs, which I can't do till Monday. Usually takes about a week to repair. It's a good little shop though. I use a local business. And thanks Nocturnal Frequency. Hello David Splendid Isolation. Rihanna says please give a like. Oh, this is a once in a lifetime watch. It won't be recorded. Well, Rihanna, what I'll do is I will download it when it's processed on YouTube. I will download it and I will put it on alt tech platforms. I don't know if I can do that and before my desktop is repaired, but I will do that as soon as I can. But I couldn't start the desktop, and so I just thought, can I get the laptop to work? Can I get this laptop to work? Thanks, David Schultz. That's really great. He says it's much better. That's cool. Well, I know now not to bother using this mic. So I thought, well, can I do this on the laptop? And so I sort of set the laptop up, got it online. That was easy enough. I was surprised how easy it was actually. Hello, Tim the Pigeon Master. How you doing? And then Robbie Philpott. Hello. And then, of course, it has worked, although I had to download OBS again, and it's a different version. They've upgraded it. The one I have doesn't make you do all this excrement. So I've suddenly found, so with just half an hour to go, I did leave plenty of time, I suddenly found I've got a new version of OBS to work out how to operate. I'm going to do all the settings again. I also had to restart the laptop because it had to do some urgent updates and things like that, but there, by the grace of God, I've made it. I'm online. I'm on this. I've actually done it. And now I've finally solved the problem with the echoing, which is what I expected. It was just somehow the webcam mic will continue to work. Thanks, Darren. I'm loud and clear. So how many of you saw The Day the Earth Stood Still? Any of you? Because that was the point of the watch party. That was the point of the watch party, basically. Did you see The Day the Earth Stood Still? I wanted to get this out of the way because I've got another watch party planned for maybe... Well, I've got Syntheo's next week, but maybe just after that, maybe after Syntheo's, I've got another watch party planned. I know you guys like the watch parties, and I do too. I think they're really good. By the way, check out Nocturnal Frequency Radio. I was on Nocturnal Frequency Radio last night. My desktop was working fine then. I mean, it's not... Hello, Social... Hello, Trevor. How are you? Social Dilemma. Trevor Murray is there. Cool. Yeah, I did a really good interview with Matthew Williams and on Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Steve was there. It was really, really good. So thanks, Steve, for that. I really enjoyed it. I will share the... I'll share the link. The thing is now I've got all my templates and notes are on the desktop and I can't get it started. Oh, David Schultz says it's a great film. Tessa says many times. Yeah. User once watched it. Tim the Pigeon Master. That's great. So any thoughts or any thoughts you want to share about the film? Because I think it's that's the point of this. I've done my review. Hopefully you watched my review. Martin Taylor, great. Really good. My review hopefully will have given you the review video, the second part of this trilogy, this watch party trilogy. The three video structure seems to work pretty well, I think. But yeah, it was a good time last night I had on Nocturnal Frequency. It's worth staying up for. Thanks, Steve. Thank you very much. Martin, you enjoyed Probe? Yeah, the new Probe. That was fun. Thanks very much. I enjoyed it. That was fun, wasn't it? Oh, Tessa saw it in the theatres back then. Tessa, how old are you? My goodness. Tessa must be ancient. No offence, Tessa, but it was released in 1951. David Schultz, what about The Thing from Another Planet, 1950? I've not seen that. But generally, the quality of movies in those days, I think, was better. Social Dilemma. I wonder if the government will have a day the Earth stood still to hoodwink us even more. Do you think they might try to fake something like that? They might try to stage some kind of event like that, Trevor, because so do I. This actually came up on Nocturnal Frequency last night, where they might actually try to manipulate this. Tessa, 75. Well, congratulations, Tessa. I'd see that as an achievement. You know, it's great to be that old, I think. I hope I live to be that old. I really do. I mean, if I do, I won't feel bad about being old. I'll just think, wow, that's an achievement. It sure beats the alternative, doesn't it? Tessa, it scared me to yeah, I think as a kid, I think that would have scared me. I mean, I only saw it actually. I think I did see it when I was a kid. I think Gort was a bit frightening. I found out that Gort was an acronym. What was it? Gort was an acronym for something. What was it? Somebody in chat probably knows. I'm not going to look it up now. I'm not going to fiddle with too much with my laptop while I'm doing this. But yeah, I think Gort was a bit frightening. Gort is, well, as Klaatu said, there's no limit to what Gort could do. If he wanted to, he could destroy the Earth. This robot could destroy the Earth. I mean, it can make tanks and artillery guns disappear. And it can kill and make people vaporize as well. Of course, Gort gets really nasty towards the end, doesn't he? Actually, he doesn't just Project Blue Boom, David Schultz. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This came up on Nocturnal Frequency. Gort can't. You see, Gort turns nasty towards the end. And of course, in the beginning, all he does is he makes the soldiers' weapons vaporize. But in the end, he makes the soldiers themselves vaporize. He makes the two guards who are minding the UFO behind the screens. He makes them vaporize. He kills them. Martin Taylor says, the Dark Journalist. Yeah, he's good. I like Dark Journalist. They're building for a fake alien invasion now. NASA have joined in. Tessa says, Gort was the original Data AI. No, I don't think so, Tessa. Data, the robot, the humanoid robot, very humanoid robot in Star Trek is... he's basically like a sci-fi android type person. In other words, he looks rather like the robot in the film Alien. You can't actually tell them apart. Or the one, it's this blending between human and robot. It gets to the point in Blade Runner where humans and robots are essentially indistinguishable. They're essentially biological robots, and the only way to tell them apart is to go through this, hook them up to this machine and give them these questions. Gort has one eye. Yeah, he's like a cyclops, isn't he? He's indestructible. I mean, everything they did was there's nothing they could do. He seems to be invincible. This is why I said in the film that it's more than just science fiction. But he's still a machine. Yeah, but Gort is a kind of monolithic beast. He's more like a robot in the real world, actually. I didn't sense any intelligence to Gort. Gort doesn't actually do it, apart from the fact that he's he's an indestructible, all-powerful weapon. He's not really much different to some of the crude robots that are in the world today, and even around at the time this was made. There were robots that could obey simple instructions, that could imitate human movements and things like that. He has metal testicles, says Diego Rivera. I mean, he's got metal everything. I mean, it's a very morally ambiguous film, I think. Martin Taylor, if Klaatu Gort offered me to go on the craft, I'd be off like a shot. I think, Martin, that my curiosity would get the better of me. I think I'd be frightened, but I mean, if I didn't do it, you guys would never forgive me, would you? I think you've only just forgiven me for not sneaking into the Tavistock Institute back then. Do you remember the time when I went into Heidi and I was sort of like hesitated outside the Tavistock Institute. Oh, we got David. Hello, David. David, how are you? That's great I'm really great to see you here, mate. It really is. Gort represented cosmic law on the first directive, maybe. If anything, David, I'd say he represents the opposite, because, in a sense, this is the opposite of Star Trek. As I said, probably Star Trek was partly inspired by this film, not least the score. As I said, if you listen to the theme tune of The Day the Earth Stood Still, it has some of the same riffs you get in the Star Trek theme. Yeah, this is the opposite of the Prime Directive. This is an extraterrestrial civilization directly interfering in the affairs on planet Earth because of the nature of the nature of humans' influence on the universe beyond it. Diego, are robots more advanced than they show us. Well, who knows, yeah. David Shorts talks about Metropolis. Yes, that's a Fritz Lang film from 1927. It's a silent one. It's pretty stylish, actually. It's very Art Deco, and its imagery is... This involves a robot as well, yeah. But you see, in Star Trek, the Prime Directive, of course, is not to interfere in any various planets they live on. A lot of the storyline from Star Trek actually comes from the conflict the crew feel between this desire this need sometimes to interfere, even to save a crew member, for example, and the Prime Directive says they mustn't. The crystal music is scary, says Tessa. Yeah, funnily enough, as I think I mentioned this in the review, the skeptic word woo-woo, which is a nickname for loonies like us, comes from that sound. That's that particular... I don't know what musical instrument it is, whether it's a synthesizer of some kind. I don't know. Tessa, when Patricia Neal ordered him to, yeah. Tessa says that Gort did obey instructions. Well, this was because Gort... Klaatu gave... What's her name? I've forgotten the character's name now. Gave her the... I've got to get the details of this film up, sorry. It gave her the code word, Klaatu Barada Nikto. The Day the Earth Stood Still. 1951 film. It's... She very bravely stood as she was frightened. You could see how frightened she was. But he, it's Helen. Her name's Helen Benson. It's cool. What's good about this new OBS, actually, is I've got the live chat, actually, on OBS, which is cool. Diego Rivera, do you think all aliens are robots? No, I don't think so. Klaatu Baringa Baranda Nikto, yeah. Oh, a theremin. Rhiannon says the instrument is a theremin. That sounds spooky. That woo-woo sound is that's why the skeptics call us woo-woo. Diego Rivera says the Abraham Lincoln statue. Yeah, the Lincoln Memorial. Funny enough, Klaatu, even though he can speak English and he says the aliens have been studying the Earth through our radio transmissions and things like that. He doesn't seem, he had to ask the young boy Jimmy, what's is it Jimmy? Bobby. He had to ask Bobby who that man was, and then when Bobby read the quote, he says, "That's the man I need to talk to. I need to talk to a man like that." The answer: someone who plays a theremin is called a thereminist. Well, maybe Rhiannon, it could be that the skeptics might decide to call us that in future. They might decide to call us that. I say, you theremin, you crazy thereminist. I want to just ask you guys: do you consider, because in the blurb, it actually says that Klaatu is a peaceful visitor from the heavens. He's not peaceful, though, is he? Jeff says the aliens are all in Davos. Well, that's where the reptilians are, yeah. I've got the old T-shirt on. Can you see there? Just the beginning. I've got that T-shirt on. Glass harmonium as an instrument. Tim asks, what happened to Charles? All right, you're talking about Charles from Project Camelot. Terry Joyce has just uploaded a video referring to that. It's got, hello, Jake Yorkman. Hello, you're watching from Slovakia. Hello, the crafty nihilists. Hello, guys. Terry Joyce has just uploaded a video. It's got a rather alarming title, actually, R.I.P. Charles, which I wouldn't have called it that if I was her. But it's... Charles is alive and well, as far as I know, but he has left the internet. Terry explains everything in her video about what happened. It actually goes back to a time when he was actually interviewed by her, and I was actually on that same live stream. It was a good live stream. I enjoyed it, actually. Kevin Moore was on there, a couple of other people, and there was a bit of disagreement between us, which I thought was fun. It was all very civilized. But according to Charles, has actually told me this himself, and he's put a public comment on her Panmo Voice about this. Terry explains everything in the video, but briefly, he's been attacked by trolls, internet trolls. It's all to do with a drama that Terry has been discussing in previous videos on her channel. It's apparently, I think, from what they've gathered. Hello, Sorenable, how are you? Right, I'll answer your question in a minute, David. I'll just continue with this, just answer this one. Well, I'll respond to your point. Basically, some of them are Team Droik. I found out that some of the people connected to this are Team Droid, the same trolls, the classic trolls we all know about. And they apparently they doxed him. They found out who he was. They found out his real name, and this is his family been dragged into this. His relatives, his family. He has family. I know. I won't say too much, but he has relatives who are not in very good health. And they've been dragged into this. So he's decided the best thing to do is he's deleted his channel. He's even shut down his email. He's disappeared from social media. I don't know how long for, maybe permanently. Hopefully he can come back sometime. And I'll miss him. Charles I was very fond of Charles. He was very funny. He provided me with no end of amusement. His videos, some of them featured me. His comments, and some of his he's a bit of a skeptic, but he provided some very interesting. He was a respectful skeptic who provided very interesting comments on a serious nature as well. So if he's watching, Charles, I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you again soon. I hope your disappearance is not forever. And so David says, Klaatu wasn't belligerent to humans at all. He was warning them about the system put in place long ago to prevent war and violence. He was even under it, and it was unavoidable. It seems to be some kind of galactic law he was enforcing, but it seems that Gort is the enforcer. And David said, Ben, so he wasn't saying, do this or I'll destroy the Earth. It was out of his hands. I got the impression of that as well. He was kind of the good cop, wasn't he? But there's bad cops waiting in the wing. Gort is potentially one of the bad cops. Church Crafty says, Ben, if you speak to Charles, say hi. He was me old mucker. Oh, Crafty, I will. I know you guys were fond of him. So Charles, if you're watching, the Crafty Nihilist also wishes you all the best. Both of them, they're two people. Mark and Liz, yeah. Woody Black says, the stream with the psychic dog, that was amazing. That was the one, yes, we had Swami with the psychic dog. Yeah, I like that. Swami was cool, even though he fell asleep halfway through. Oh. I think the point of the whole thing, of the film, is that he's essentially warning, he is there to provide a warning. I mean, his whole purpose of being on Earth is to warn him, and he has like addressed him. He can't just talk to anyone. He has to address the United Nations. It has to be a massive global statement. And Martin Chellis says Klaatu was threatened first. Well, Klaatu was shot. He was shot by one of the soldiers who was very nervous and discharged his weapon. There was actually going to be, the machine was destroyed, but apparently it was a communications device. He said, if you hadn't shot me and damaged this machine, I was going to give it to your president, and it will allow him to talk to us. Hasn't he got a spare one somewhere? Surely they could get another one. David said, Gort was one of the robots in their ancient ancestors put into place to govern it all, and they made it so they can never be changed. They had no control to remove Gort. No, yeah, Gort is a force unto himself. It's pretty clear that Klaatu is not Gort's master. Klaatu was accompanying Gort on this mission. He says he's been traveling he's been traveling for many months from his home planet, which he doesn't actually mention it, but it's clearly Venus. He says it's the nearest planet to the Earth, which is Venus. In those days, no one knew what Venus was like. It was, of course, after the Venera program, we realised that, yeah, we wouldn't have come from Venus. If they remade that today, wouldn't. The remake they didn't with that thing with Keanu Reeves. He didn't come from Venus. But oh god, it was a load of that remake was shite. Tessa says the movie was thought that Roswell may have been a dumb thing to do, destroy before talking. Tessa, the crash, the Roswell incident doesn't seem to have been caused by human action. I mean, I know in Dark Skies, the TV series by Bryce Sable, in their particular field, in that particular scenario, the UFO is shot down by humans. That's a very rare thing. In fact, there are luckily only a handful of stories of genuine combat. I'm talking about weapons being fired between UFOs and humans, and in almost all those cases, the humans end up worse off. The aliens retaliate with a force which does. The aliens are very often not harmed. The humans are very badly harmed when they retaliate. When the aliens retaliate. The Roswell. What caused the Roswell craft to crash? I don't know. I'm not an alien spacecraft engineer. We know there was heavy thunderstorms at the time, major electrical storms. Maybe that had something to do with it. Major electrical storms do seem to be. There are several other incidents. The Virginia incident was also followed an electrical storm. There was a massive thunderstorm, and then something came down. Rhiannon says, "What would Gort have done to the EU?" YouTube's community guidelines prevent me from answering that honestly, but you can probably guess. And Martin says, yes, but Klaatu had the code to deactivate Gort. Did he? Well, I mean, he couldn't. Gort wouldn't destroy the Earth, I don't think, unless Klaatu's warning didn't work. But the code word was just, it was actually instructing. I mean, there's no translation of Klaatu, Barad, and Nikto. We know it's something to do with Klaatu. But Gort then goes and finds Klaatu and rescues him. Tessa thinks maybe they did bring it down. Well, it's possible. I mean, there was an incident in 1989, which it's actually in the book you're reading, Rhiannon is reading, and the one I read, Alien Investigator, which claims that the flying saucer was shot down by the South African Air Force. Nyla says they say Venus may have supported life millions of years ago and used to have water, but the runaway greenhouse effect. It's possible, you know. I mean, Mars certainly. You could say that certainly for Mars. I mean, Mars had water flowing on it. It had a water cycle. It must have had in the distant past, it must have had a much, much thicker atmosphere, and it must have been a hell of a lot warmer. Trevor asked, how legit is Bob Lazar? I would say, in a word, he is legit. But I know that's controversial, and I know everyone's going to disagree with me on that. Well, lots of people will. But I don't have time to go into details now, Trevor, but we can talk about it on Third Rail, if you like. Jacob Ferris says, what about the ape's hand in the film poster? I don't know. Vrillon, hello, Vrillon. Gort circuits would have exploded upon landing in Brussels due to illogical governance model. He would have vaporized them all at once. No, Trevor, it's all right. You can go a bit off topic. I did say related subjects in the instructions, so that's fair enough. Project Pantry, yes, Rhiannon, you've got to that bit. Project Pantry, yeah. That's a story and a half, I'll tell you. Tessa says there was previously a big planet called Tiamat. It is mentioned in ancient cultures that there was a planet which you can't see in the sky now. The actual mass of the asteroid belt is not enough to say that it was a broken planet. But it could. Some people claim that Tiamat was Venus, and Venus used to be in a different orbit. Was it Tsiolkovsky used to talk about that? Sharon, did you see the new interview Third Phase is done with Travis Walton? Third Phase of the Moon, I've not. I've seen the one with Stephen Greer. They did a long one with him. Well, he didn't really say. It was just quite interesting that. He didn't say too much original, but he did mention a couple of things that I thought were, yeah. But I'll check that out. Travis I'm interested in Travis, his story and everything. I've actually covered it in a previous video. I covered what I think is a false attempt to discredit him very recently. That, in fact, attempts to discredit Travis have been going on. They've been going on and off continuously ever since he had his experience, and the latest one is no different to any of the earlier ones. Tessa says, Lear said Lazar was legit. Yes, the late, great John Lear, who sadly passed away, yeah. Oh, Martin Taylor says Gort was going to eliminate the Earth, but But I see. So the words that Helen told Gort were meant to stop him. Well, in that case, how did Gort also know to go and pick up Klaatu? I mean, it's only 3 words. It must be a very strange language with lots of information encoded into very, very short sentences. A bit like German. It has lots of ideas in each individual word. I forgot what they call that kind of language. Is it a compound language or something like that? So in English, you'd have to say like an entire sentence. In a compound language like German, and I think there's a couple of others, Hungarian, I think, you can just say one word and it means everything that's in that sentence. Tessa says, lots of meteorites went everywhere, including the sun. Oh, David says, Mars had a global flood, but when it came to the thinking Earth, it had a global flood. It's anathema to them, mostly because it would confirm the Genesis record. Well, it would confirm there was a global flood. There have been several global floods. The sea level has fluctuated many times in history, and it rose by about 300 feet in around about 10,500 BC. Very suddenly, literally within almost overnight, it was like a high tide that just kept going, because of the very sudden melting of the ice caps. And that's where that legend comes from. It was real. People remembered it. They would have talked about nothing else for generations until in the historical period, these legends were written down as stories. David Schultz says, I always wonder if those crash UFOs would have a distress signal if they were in trouble. I don't know if there's any stories about them, rescues, them being rescued. What's this? Perhaps life started on Venus, said Nihilist Lives Matter. I mean, some people say that they didn't have interplanetary travel yet because they cancelled the Venusian Elon Musk. Oh, shame on them. More fool them, isn't it? Tessa says Klaatu Barada Nikto means stop and go and get Klaatu, maybe. The language it's not been sort of codified the way Klingon or Elvish has. The Tolkienian languages have been designed fully in grammar. They have a grammar, vocabulary, etc. David says Gort didn't know, so I'm trying not to miss out questions. If Klaatu was alive, Klaatu and his people had no ability to stop Gort or the other overseers, not even destroying their own world should it become violent. Yeah, that was it. Gort is the guardian of intergalactic peace, but it's only peace just like the Pax Romani. The Romans were good at they bring peace, as they said, as Monty Python says. I've got a text message. That might be something to do with work. But of course, the only reason they brought peace because everyone was too scared of them. So it's that kind of peace, unfortunately, doesn't last. It's an unstable form of peace. Be peaceful or we'll kill you. All right. Oh, it's my daughter. One sec. Be peaceful or we'll kill you. Diego Rivera, have you heard of Comment 73p? Yeah, comments will hit America May the 30th. Yeah, well, May the 30th is actually on Monday. Yes, they say. Well, the thing is, no one's going to be hurt. These fragments are very small, and they will not reach the ground. They will burn up in the atmosphere. I'm just going to reply. Hang on a sec. Okay, she just wants me to do something for her. I'll do that. Being her daddy, that's what daddies are for, aren't they? Okay, something I've got to remember to do. Doggerland. Yeah, Doggerland was like very interesting because Doggerland, the area called the North Sea now, used to be dry land. People lived there. They found their artifacts. The Yucatan meteorite, says Tessa. Yeah, that's what killed the dinosaurs. Yeah. Martin Taylor says Klaatu was the governor of the mission. Gort was the enforcer if needed. Otherwise not just send Gort alone. Yeah, as I said, he was. Klaatu was the carrot and Gort was the stick. Or good cop, bad cop, to whatever analogy you want to use. Tessa says, supposedly Eisenhower spoke with survivors of crashes and made treaties for tech exchange. There's a great film, Tessa, called The 11th Green. If you haven't seen it, please do so. I have talked about it on this channel. It's available on a couple of platforms. It's not expensive. You can rent it for a couple of quid on Amazon. It's really good. It goes into that whole legend of Eisenhower. Now, the kind of treaties really don't make sense to me. I mean, the idea is the aliens said, will you let us abduct people? And you can have this secret technology in exchange. It wouldn't be much of a bargain because we don't have an awful lot to bring to the table. Aliens don't need our permission to abduct people. They do it anyway. We're powerless to stop them. This is one of the reasons that the government is so cagey about UFOs. They don't like to admit, look, we can't stop the aliens doing this to you if they want to. But there was allegedly a meeting between Eisenhower, and Eisenhower did actually disappear for a couple of days. There's the records of his movement. They said apparently he went to the dentist for a checkup, but that checkup took 48 hours. Didn't make sense. Gnarly Slice Matter. Klaatu is Jamaican for a hygiene project, and they use it as an insult. All right. That's the patois. They got some strange words in that patois. Tessa says, lots of shiny objects coming in on Monday. Oh, really? Well, it's not. The actual fragments of Comet 73P are not going to... They'll actually give you a bit of free fireworks. They're estimating maybe 1,000 meteors per hour. Fireballs. Nothing will reach the ground. No one will get hurt. No, this lives matter. I cannot read out what you just said, but I do share your sentiments. David says, because Gort couldn't be reasoned with by humans, Klaatu was an emissary, an intermediary. Yeah. Gort couldn't speak. Gort was a mute. He could obey in simple instructions, but he's actually not. He doesn't sound to me like an intelligent machine. Klaatu Barada Nikto, says Trevor. Yeah. You just say that to him. That's the magic words. I say magic. It's the code words he's programmed to obey. Oh, Tessa says human DNA. Tessa, if they want human DNA can be found anywhere. I mean, human DNA is... you don't actually need to abduct people to get your DNA. All you have to do is like pick a hair off their head or a skin cell from them. You know, Jock of Ages, wasn't there supposed to be a real-life Klaatu? There's a picture of someone who's supposed to be an alien, but is human-looking. I can't remember the name, though. He's called Val Valiant Thor, Jock. Yeah. Val Valiant Thor there's a book called The Alien at the Pentagon by Frank Strangers, and what it says is basically this actually happened in a few years after this film was released, and people have accused him of making it up because he saw this film, but there was apparently a landing, and it was not just one. There was about a dozen of these aliens got out, and they went to see the president. They had meetings with the Department of Defense. They spent a lot of time with the Pentagon advising people on military strategy. What's unique about this is there are photographs of these people. They're very human looking, and in fact you wouldn't actually discern them from ourselves. And of course the skeptics will say, well, the reason they're human looking is because they're just normal people. The problem is none of them can be identified. None of them can be identified. So who are they if they're not aliens? Trevor says not very voluntary of them. No, they're not really anarchists, I don't think, Trevor. Obviously, in this universe, this imaginary universe, the galaxy, the universe, the space is actually a very, very authoritarian place, and humans are rather like the lost tribes of New Guinea or the Amazon who've had no contact with the outside world. And Klaatu and Gort are basically like explorers who turn up suddenly into our world. You know, and as is often the case, you know, there's often this can be a very violent experience. Leanna Jones, apparently Nonny is a Jamaican for a lady's underpants. Oh dear, I know somebody calls you that, don't they? Oh dear. Tessa, vacuum my rugs for DNA. All they have to do is like swab a door handle you touched. Villan Orr, the guy they met in the 1950s. Yeah, that was him, Val Valiant Thor. Tessa, the exchange might have been Area 51 alien exchange for tech. It may be, Tessa. It could be that it was a rescue mission. Who knows? Martin Taylor, Val Thor could be Saint Germain. I've heard that. Yeah, Saint Germain apparently is immortal, and it goes by different names every generation or so. I don't know. I don't know exactly if that's true. I mean, the Saint Germain thing is very interesting. It's similar to the plot of the film Highlander, which is a good film if you've never seen it. It's about a man who was originally a Scottish Highland chief, and he becomes immortal, and he lives on and on and on for centuries, and has to keep changing his identity to explain why he's not getting old and dying. Tessa says Klaatu's people saw the atomic bombs going off and came over to stop it. I think that might have inspired the writers of the film, Tessa. Yeah, it's a common theme in science fiction, actually. In 1951, it was only a few years since these bombs had been demonstrated. In 1945, they'd been tested and used at the end of World War II. And that must have been terrifying for people. I don't know what it was like. Most of us, I think, apart from Tessa perhaps, most of us were born into this world with this threat. We grew up with it. And we'd sort of taken it, kind of for granted. We got used to it. Social dilemma. All right, Trevor, see you later, mate. He's got to go. See you later, buddy. Tim mentions that this story sounds like Highlander, the story of Saint Germain. It does. Oh, Darren's got to go. See you, Darren. Take care. Tessa says Saint Germain was Longinus, made to live forever after killing Jesus. Was that the punishment? Longinus Septus, whatever his name was. A Jock of Ages says, a Jock of the Ages. All right. Is it Jock? No, I wouldn't want to live forever. I must say. I mean, I'm quite happy to. I like the idea of reincarnation and the afterlife. But I wouldn't want to. Who'd want to stay on this world forever? I mean, that's a punishment, isn't it? Tessa says, Tessa's saying that she did the duck and cover drills. Oh God, that's horrible, Tessa. That's bloody awful. I mean, I've seen those. I mean, see, when I was a little kid, I was scared of nuclear weapons. I mean, we had the equivalent of that when I was a kid. There was a film called Threads, and we were shown it at school, and I think I consider that child abuse. I don't know if you've ever seen Threads. It's actually on YouTube. It's a dramatization of what would happen in a nuclear attack. There's another one, an American one called The Day After, which is it's equally depressing. It's slightly less graphic, but it's equally depressing, and that's very, very upsetting. But I know I've seen when I was at school, they did show us like the films of the duck and cover drills and that, and there's that turtle, isn't there? Duck and cover. They got little songs to sing. There's this little turtle walking along. I think Disney did it or something. And they said, Tim the turtle knows what to do. And then you see someone like a stick of dynamite comes nearby you and he disappears into his shell. It's funny. It sounds funny to us adults, but if I was a little kid, it scared the sweet dry living crap out of me. No, this lies matter. There's an author on YouTube called John Michael Goda outlining a theory that aliens wait for civilization to develop dangerous tech that destroy them as a survival strategy. Oh God, that's kind of what Gort does, isn't he? If they become kind of like aggressive, and they at the same time they start building their first spacecraft, which of course was happening in the 1940s. We were designing rockets. I mean, the funny thing is, like, Brian Aldiss, the author, he's a science fiction author. There's no film. I don't think any films have been made of his books, but his books are brilliant. He had a theory. Well, there's a theory expressed in some of his books that it's the Heliconia trilogy primarily. But the universe has an inbuilt system for keeping species on planets. If they are aggressive, it stops them from going out into the world. It's a kind of like apoptosis, this thing for getting rid of cancer cells. The technology to travel beyond your home planet is developed by a species at the same time as the technology, inevitably, the technologies destroy themselves. So if they are aggressive and cruel, they always blow themselves up before they get a chance to go out into the rest of the universe. And that's the universe's way of keeping nasty people keeping the nasty boys away from the rest of the universe, making sure they blow themselves up before they get anywhere. But no one's enforcing it. It's just a natural law of nature. But it's similar to the concept in The Day the Earth Stood Still. Tessa says constant watching of Bikini Island films. Oh, that refers to the nuclear tests where they tested the first hydrogen bombs. They couldn't do them in Nevada because these bombs were like 10 times bigger. So they did them on this island. It's sad they actually moved the native people off the island and put them somewhere else. They've only just managed to go back because of the fallout. But there was UFOs in those. Yeah, there's UFOs in some of the images of the bombs going off. Yeah. David says Threads is extremely disturbing. Yeah, I've watched it once on YouTube. I'll never watch it again. I couldn't watch it again. It's so depressing. I mean, how did the writers and directors and the actors? I mean, how did they must have needed counselling after doing that. Tim says By Dawn's Early Light is my favourite nuke film. That's very good. That is actually a late Cold War. It's actually in the late 80s when the Cold War really was drawing to a close. But it's very good. It's got James Earl Jones is in it. He's very good. Deanna says, I remember watching Threads when I was 10. Oh, God, with my depressed mum. I think the Illuminati actually they wanted us to be scared of nuclear war. They really did. They wanted us to be scared. And they did it to scare us deliberately. I really do think that, yeah. Tessa says, just mentioned the Voyager 1 anomaly. Why is that? Yeah, what's going on with it? There was a video. I didn't get a chance to watch it. What's going on with Voyager 1? Oh, blimey. Could you let us know briefly, Tessa, what it's all about? Oh, man. Diego Vera, have you heard of the Kardashev scale? Yeah. It's to do with the amount of energy a society has access to. So I think when you can have chemical energy, you reach stage 1, nuclear energy stage 2, and then there's the energy of a star, stage 3, and then the energy of a galaxy, stage 4. So if Tabby Star is like a real civilization and it's a real Dyson sphere, they've essentially reached stage 3, beyond us. Nihilist Lives Matter. AI is more dangerous than nuclear weapons. You can program probes to self-replicate and use the universe to do so. I don't think AI is really anything we need to worry about. Nihilist Lives Matter. Certainly not the stuff that's been publicly released. Put it that way. I'll qualify that. I mean, they can't even tell what's a funny video from a hateful video. They just ban them all. They couldn't even. My videos have been banned when there's nothing wrong with them. And I know they've been banned completely by artificial intelligence. My Stephen Molyneux 9/11 video, it was banned. Then I appealed it and it was restored. Then it was banned again, and the bots themselves repealed it, and they said they'd made a mistake. And now finally it's been banned for good. There's no humans doing that. That's David Schultz mentions On the Beach, yeah, and Failsafe. On the Beach. I've not seen the film. I've read the book by Neville Shute. It was inspired by the horrible fallout from this from the Bikini Atoll nuclear tests, and indeed there was a Japanese fishing trawler nearby, and the guys were poisoned. Yeah. Villon had to see Threads at school. What is it? God blimey, it's worse than the Haunted Generation. Well, it is kind of part, because these were people who were part of the Haunted Generation. Oh, Tessa says, reminds you of Star Trek The Motion Picture. Vija, yeah. Star Trek The Motion Picture is actually underrated. It had very bad reviews. I saw it as a little child. I mean, the problem is it's got this one scene of sort of sci-fi horror element where people are killed. They're kind of ripped apart by the transporter because there's a malfunction with the transporter. That's so horrible. It stopped me enjoying the rest of the film. I was only a little kid when I saw it. But the next one, The Wrath of Khan, that was widely very acclaimed by the critics, and I thought it was very good. David mentions When the Wind Blows by Raymond Briggs. Yeah, that's excellent. It is funny and poignant, and it's a kind of tragicomic graphic novel by Raymond Briggs. And he does that kind of thing very well, actually, Briggs. It was made into a cartoon program as well. Villanor says, this guy from the Ministry of Defence came round and said it's okay, we would be in the blast zone. That's 50 miles from Middenhall. Oh, cold blimey. I remember like watching these things. It was worse probably in the 50s and 60s, but they were talking about, who people like moving. They were moving house to get to places where they thought wouldn't be blown up. Oh, Tim said they made you watch When the Wind Blows. Tim, it's not. At least there is something positive in When the Wind Blows. It's not just a tragedy. It's about the blogs, the elderly couple who are at the centre of the story. They face their fate with enormous stoicism and bravery, and it is kind of a positive story. Threads, there's just nothing positive to it at all. Threads is simply an exploration of human misery. It's really one of the most dystopian, one of the most negative films ever made. Tessa says Doctor Who 4 was vilified by Mrs. Mary Whitehouse for violence for kiddies. Mary Whitehouse was somebody everyone used to laugh at, I remember. My mum used to call her the clean knickers lady. But really, I mean, she's kind of one of these prophets that's never really understood in her time, because what would she died quite a long time ago. What would she make of TV today? Because her warning, I mean, I think she was kind of a prophet of doom, but that doom is now upon us. Yeah. By the way, what I find interesting, The Day the Earth Stood Still, it's not really science fiction. It's not science fiction. I don't think you can call it that, because it's science fiction. It's more like a fantasy. I mean, what Klaatu does. Tessa says she'd go crazy. Yeah, she's probably in the spirit world right now, just saying, "I told you so, you stupid living idiots! I told you so." No, what Klaatu and Gort have kind of magical powers. It's not science fiction. There's no explanation for how they do as they do. There's no explanation for Gort's powers, his indestructibility. The weapon he uses is dematerialize everything it touches. There's no explanation. In a science fiction film, there'd be some kind of mechanism behind it. Same with stopping the electricity. How does he stop electricity for an entire hour? I mean, what mechanism does he have for doing that? Well, Tessa says The Day the Earth Stood Still is predictive programming. It could be seen that way if you think of it as if as long ago as 1951 they had ideas about staging a fake alien invasion. Yeah, you could say that. Jeff Sperry says Mary Whitehouse has been proved right. She has been proved right. Yeah. Hello, Stephen Truthseeker. Hello. Just a quick one, because Liverpool fans booed Prince William. The Illuminati trying to mess up tonight's Champions League final game. Well, they've done it again. Is that going on right now? I know they booed him the other day. I mean, he was booed the other day. Why is Prince William being booed? I mean, what's he done? I mean, Prince Harry, I know, is not popular now. Tessa, how did Moses stop the sun? Or did Moses stop the sun? I know he parted the waters of the Red Sea. But back to Prince William. Let me just Google it. Why was Prince William booed? Has he been booed again? So, what's happening to Prince William? Prince William national anthem booed by Liverpool. That was a week ago. by the Wembley crowd at the FA Cup final. Was booed by sections of the crowd. Why did Prince William get booed at the FA Cup? Maybe Stephen knows. Prince William got booed as he attended the match. Right. Why? Prince William is a football fan and the president of the FA. Despite his involvement with sport, the Duke of Cambridge was booed by football fans. Why did this happen? Some reporters, including speculated this is a negative reception due to the Hillsborough disaster that took place in Sheffield in 1989. That could be it. I mean, Stephen, maybe they've never forgotten. I mean, Scousers, they're like elephants. They never forget. And this was like the 96 people who were killed in this horrific disaster. It's the worst loss of human life since World War II, and indeed since then. It's never been repeated. Being the son of Chuck, most likely. I don't know. I mean, what would happen? I mean, it's an interesting. I'll cover this in more detail in a future live stream. But what is going to happen when the old bag goes to the great reptile house in the sky? I mean, it's bound to happen soon. She's an old lady. Even lizards don't last forever. Her mother was 99 when she popped off, I believe, or 100. How old was the Queen Mother? Oh, I've got no. This browser has no. I've got no home page. Hang on. How old was the Queen Mother when she died? 101. There you go. So her mother was 101. So is Lizzie 2 going to last that long? I don't know. 101. Thanks, Tessa. Yeah, it was 101. Thanks. We've both got a Googling competition there. Oh. Charles will destroy the royal family. It's interesting to speculate what will happen. It'll be the end of an era. She's the longest British monarch in history. The Queen of England no Queen or King of England has ever had a platinum jubilee until now. Maybe she's already popped off and they just haven't told us yet. William is a German, says Mine Taylor. Well, technically, that whole family are. I mean, William is unlike Harry. Harry and he are half brothers, of course, because Harry is not Charles's son. He's Hewitt's son. But this I think may have led to a lot of the tension that Harry is experiencing in his life. The arguments he's had with his brother, things like that. Gnarly Lives Matter says Scousers are just anti-English. They say we're Scouse, not English. Maybe large Irish population. Yeah, because it's a port town. A lot of them have Irish roots. That's why so many of them are Roman Catholic. Tessa, you remember her funeral? The Queen Mother? Yeah, I do. Yes, she was. She died just after the millennium. I remember. She died the same year as my grandmother, although my grandmother was younger. Good evening, Snarnock. Tessa says yes. Queen Elizabeth II has broken Queen Victoria's, both in terms of the length of her reign and also her age. Queen Victoria, it was 1820 something to 1901. I know Queen Victoria died in 1901. Welsh Ripper, what have I missed? Hey, Welsh. How you doing, mate? Ripper, how you doing, boy? We've been talking about the film The Day the Earth Stood Still. I don't know if you've seen it or you've watched my review. Do you have anything you want to say about the film The Day the Earth Stood Still? Anything you fancy talking about? Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything else to add now. Unfortunately, I made some notes which are on the desktop. I can't access them. The same for the aerial phenomenon tomorrow. I'm doing another live stream tomorrow about the aerial phenomenon. If you've not seen that, do go and see it. But it's not cheap to watch, but it's worth it. I'll tell you, it's worth it. Hello, Mr. Nice. I'm self-employed. I'll be writing to Liz asking to be compensated for the imposed bank holidays. I will lose 2 days' pay. God, yeah, I know. It's I'm self-employed too, Mr. Nice. I was lucky though. I did work through the lockdown. Yeah. The answer is 1827 to 1901. Yeah, that's a long reign, but it's been beaten by Queen Victoria. 1952 to 2022 at least is much longer. Yeah, it was actually, yeah, it was 71 years. That's longer though, isn't it? 1827 to 1901. That's 74 years. Let me just look that up, because I thought the Queen, Elizabeth II had beaten Queen Victoria. How long was Queen Victoria on the throne? 60. Oh, right, she was 64 years. Her reign was almost 64 years. Her son Edward VII succeeded her. Yeah, that's it. So Queen Victoria, 63 years. She was born 1819, died 22nd of January 1901. Right, yeah. Reign. From May the... Oh, right, what? It says here she was Empress of India. Reign is 37. All right, 20th of June 1837. So, all right, yeah, 64, not 74 years. That's it, Rihanna. You were 10 years out, because that would have made, if she'd been crowned in 1827, that would make her a lot more. Yes, it was actually 64 years. Yeah. Oh, right. There's a few more people have arrived. Snark. Everyone should read And What Do You Do by Norman Baker. Oh yeah, he's good, Norman Baker. He's probably the best MP around. He spoke at AV3. I don't know if you ever went to Alternative View. He spoke at one of Ian R. Crane's conferences. Yeah, I don't think it's ever been an MP speaking at a woo-woo conference, but they did. Hello, Deb Allen. How are you? You've not seen the film, Welsh Ripper. All right, do go and watch it, but don't watch the crappy 2008 remake. Watch the original 1951. Diego Vera, how would robots power themselves? I don't know. I mean, it could have a 0-point energy or something. Maybe they have to plug themselves in and charge themselves up like a mobile phone, Mr. Nice, hopefully the Madrid will give the Scousers a good thrashing tonight in Paris. You traitor! You traitor. Oh, don't tell me you're an Everton fan, aren't you? No, yeah, they're not British. The House of Windsor are not British. They're German. Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, yeah. No, let's not matter. Queen Victoria, born in 1819. She was quite young when she became queen. Hugo Roon says, in my humble opinion, Liz is the last. We don't need them. I do suspect, Hugo, that Charles will be the last king. I do, one way or another. He will. Starlock, is it true that Prince Albert had a ring down below? Apparently, that's why they call it that. I don't know, but Queen Victoria apparently was a very sensual lady. That's all right, Rhiannon, it's okay. Welsh Ripper is channeling as in a Shrimpton, all under German rule, all them years, yeah. We have here C4MP3ROOR and 0R, which is an interesting name. Can I say, was it Camp something, I'll call you? How many years on YouTube, Ben? I remember watching you at least a decade ago, then lost the sub with a new PC. Well, thanks for looking me up again, Camps, whatever you're called. Thanks for looking me up again. I uploaded my first video, I think it was 2008. I don't know. Knowledge lives matter. Futurama, robots were powered by booze. Oh yeah, Bender, the drunk robot. Yeah. Oh, the other says apparently it was common for gentlemen at the time to secure their underparts with a ring to keep them in place in the tight breeches. Not only Prince Albert did, but he takes the credit. Oh, it sounds horrible. I hate the idea of any kind of piercing. I've not got any piercing, never had one, and if I don't like the idea of it, especially that part of your body. Mr. Nice, Chelsea fan, come on Madrid. Oh God. Stephen Truthseeker, are we going to have an argument here about football? Yeah, I was in Swindon. I was changed trains in Swindon on the way back from South Wales. I can't remember if it was Gareth's funeral or whether it was Sufon. But I went into the toilet and I just sat down in the cubicle. And someone had scrawled on the inside of the door, "Fuck you, Swindon, OUFC rules." It's Oxford United, Swindon Town, you know. But it's it's a typically vitriolic football rivalry. Yeah, they do get very, very nasty, don't they? Don't they? They really do. Tessa says, will the Church of England actually crown Charles? Well, they have to, because he's the defender of the faith. I don't know what... Knowing the Church of England nowadays, they probably crown anyone. They'd crown a furry, wouldn't they? Yeah, drama... Oh, Snarknockers watched it. Right. That's the episode of Dramarama Spooky, yeah. That's good, isn't it? That scared me when I was a kid. Tessa says, Lost in Space, Robbie the Robot. Robbie, that was actually the Forbidden Planet, which is very good. That's a very good film. But wouldn't mind doing a watch party about that. But I've got another idea for a watch party. Campera. All right, is Campera. I remember your very old UFO conference videos. I've been doing them for so long, haven't I, Campera? Yeah. Real answers, ladies of the French 17th century court would pierce their nipples. Oh, bloody heck. What's this thing about bloody piercings? Oh, God. David says, invasions other than aliens, invasion of the body snatchers, the Day of the Triffids, the Andromeda Strain. Yeah, they're all pretty good films, actually. Yeah, I've seen all of those, and they're very good films. Snarnock, do you have any Illuminati symbol tattoos, Ben? No, I don't have any tattoos at all. Rick Horden just got back from the co-op with refreshments. Nice one. Well, thanks for joining us, Rick. I've got another message from someone here. Let's have a look. It's probably Louisa. All right, okay. Rings in strange places. Was that why Victoria had 9 children? I don't know. Prince Charles, the Prince, yeah. So, I don't think Prince Charles, a lot of people think Charles would not be popular. I mean, I don't know what kind of king he would be. I mean, he's full Illuminati, and this is the thing. The problem is here, the bloodline breaks down after that, and it's got a lot to do with the general changes in the earth. But, the House of Windsor's coming to an end. I mean, there's William, and then the other boy, like, obviously, there was Diana. It's obviously that Diana was, I think, the catalyst which is going to destroy their house. They had to get rid of her. They did get rid of her. They car crashed her. And Harry, of course, they have this Ben Sinister element, which in the form of Prince Harry, who's now married to like a celebrity spoilt star, like an American sort of like one of these people who's just famous because they're famous. Meghan Markle was a second-rate actress in various daytime dramas, and now she's just famous for just being married to Harry. And how much longer is she going to be married to him? How much will the divorce settlement be? Diego Rivera, does the English Bigfoot have monkeypox? I think we're all going to die of monkeypox pretty soon. Campera says you are a really early YouTube conspiracy OG, just like Truth the Girl. for the to carry on so long. Yeah, I mean, YouTube started in 2005. I joined soon after that. I didn't start uploading till a few years later. 2008, I think I started uploading. Yeah. They destroyed Victoria's secret letters, Victoria's secrets. God knows what secrets she died with. I mean, she never really got over her husband's death. I mean, she was very fond. She kind of like a lot, as well as having her own children. She kind of, do you remember she adopted Abdul Karim? Now, have you ever seen The Queen and Abdul? That's a good film, that. Abdul Karim was her Indian servant, who she kind of saw as a kind of son. She kind of adopted him. It was a very sort of like sweet relationship. And oddly enough, guess where Abdul Karim lived? He lived in Frogmore Cottage. It was actually originally servants' quarters. It was converted into Harry and Meghan's house after that. And there was, of course, John Brown. There was a film with Billy Connolly called Mrs. Brown. And I don't know if it was a very intense platonic relationship or whether they actually were lovers. I don't know. But when he died, Victoria was devastated. She was buried with a lock of his hair. Yeah, Meghan Markle. I actually posted a comment on one of Niall Murphy through the Opaque Lenses videos, and it was deleted by YouTube. And I didn't think it was particularly offensive. I just happened to say that Meghan Markle is so far up her own arse she could lick the inside of her own tonsils. And let's face it, she is, isn't she? Jeff Sparrow says, Charles has expressed political views. Yeah, that's not very royal. You're not supposed to do that, are you? Knowledge Lives Matter says, monkeypox is a new word for AIDS. AIDS is apparently caused by the virus discovered by Robert Gallo of Lytton Bionetics. Coincidentally, just when he was testing the new hepatitis V vaccine, and you know the story behind that, I've talked about it before. Watch Len Horowitz's film In Lies We Trust, the Hollywood CIA and bioterrorism. Monkeypox is apparently something different, but funny enough, Bill Gates was talking about it like last year and said that there's going to be an outbreak of monkeypox. How the hell did he know? Yeah, moneypox. No, actually, yeah, a lot of people mentioned that. How did he know? I mean, it's a bit like if you're standing outside a bank and you say, this bank's about to get robbed, and you put a stocking over your head and grab a sawn-off shotgun, and then an hour later you hear that bank has been robbed. What are you going to say that person is psychic? Do they have a crystal ball? Did they somehow know because they sensed it in the ether? Or, what's more likely? Yeah, that's what I think about when I hear Bill Gates. Yeah, I think the new crisis, they're testing different models now for new crises. They have to have a crisis at some point. They cannot leave us in peace. They can't leave us in peace. Oh, what's that quote by Adam Curtis? There's a really good quote by Adam Curtis. I can't remember what it is, but he sums it up so well. Like, he sums up so many really, really good things. Let's have a look. It's in hypernormalization, I think. I've got to find this quote. Here we go. Increasing. This was actually in the trailer to Bitter Lake, his documentary before the one he did. He did hypernormalization, and now he's done another one, which is very good. Increasingly, we live in a world where nothing makes sense. Events come and go like waves of a fever, leaving us confused and uncertain. Those in power tell stories to help us make sense of the complexity of reality. But those stories are increasingly unconvincing and hollow, to which the only response is, oh dear. And that's not by accident, that's by cold, calculated design. Well, hey guys, I've been going for an hour and a half. Does anyone want to say? I'm going to end it in a minute. I'll do the what I'll do tomorrow evening. I'll do the I'll address the comments in the show notice, because in the live stream notice, because there'll probably be more of them. But does anyone want to say anything about the subject matter, the day the Earth stood still? Because if no one wants to say anything more on topic, I'm going to end the live stream now, because I'm going to do 2 this weekend. Monsieur Ben, with all these videos you are spoiling us. I don't expect it every weekend, guys. So, anyone want to say anything more about the day the Earth stood still? If not, okay, guys. I want to thank you all for taking part in this. It's not been easy getting this up and running. Actually, I thought, is it going to work without my desktop? But tomorrow I'm going to have another go tomorrow. I don't have any of my notes. But do watch Aerial Phenomenon if you can. I think I can remember most of it, and I'm sure it'll come out in the discussion. But I just I don't know. I can't keep backing things up all the time. Yeah, Snarnock. There can never be enough Vemlin. That's what Matthew Williams says. Yeah. All right. Well, there will be a live stream tomorrow. Technical problems allowing. If the technical problems stay away, I will be doing a live stream tomorrow. And 7 p.m., same time, 7 p.m., it's going to be about the film Aerial Phenomenon by Randall Nicholson. Do watch it if you can. See you, David Schultz. Take care, guys. See you tomorrow. Tessa, thank you very much. I will. You did well without your robots. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you. Phenomenon. Oh, Snarnock is phenomenon. Yeah. As for the Panmo show on Thursday, I will do what I can. I've got to record Steve Bassett as well. It shouldn't be a problem. This laptop can do almost everything that the desktop does, so it shouldn't be a problem. It's just that I don't have the notes and things like that. I don't have all the apps. Night, David. Tessa, I have tons of thumb drives filmed. I've got some of it backed up on portable drives, yeah, but not my latest stuff that I need. Woody Black says I'll try and watch it. I hope you can. It's quite expensive. I mean, basically, he's been making this film for about 10 years. And Nicholson, he's got a lot of, he basically funded it he crowdfunded it, and he's got he's got a lot of money to pay off, I'm guessing. See you tomorrow, Tim. Thanks, Campanor, thank you. See you, Tessa. And Martin Taylor. Ending, it has stood still now. Night, Hilianon. Rick Horden, good night. Thanks for watching me on Nocturnal Frequency. See you tomorrow, User One. I bet you make sure you're there first. Snarnock. Ask Steve Bassett about his views on the Power Elite. Steve and I disagree on quite a lot, actually. I love him. I think he's a great guy. I love Steve. He's great. I think the day the still was about communism. Oh, blimey. R.I.P. Ray Liotta. Yeah, it's Tessa. He's an old Italian guy. Well, it might have been. I mean, it may have been Cold War propaganda for a long. I mean, I'm sort of ending it now, but yeah, it could be. You're welcome, Ripper. But there'll be another watch party live stream. Next week I'm going to do a St. Theo's video because, of course, June the 1st is St. Theo's Day. I'm not going to do a live stream this year because I can basically go out and about now. I couldn't last year. Tits and Bum Tabloid has just turned up at the end. Yes, good. Hello, Tits and Bum Tabloid. But yeah, if you go just Google Aerial Phenomena. At the moment, you can only watch it on the site. It's not cheap, but it's worth it. I've waited a long time for the film, and I will be talking. I've watched it. I've made some notes which I've now lost, and but I'll do my best to do a good live stream tomorrow about it. If necessary, I'll do another one when I get my desktop back. But see you, Hugo. Take care. Hugo Rude, thank you for joining us. Snarnock, enjoy the drama-rama. It's very, very good. Yeah. Hit like, says Tessa. Yeah, please do. And I'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. where we'll be discussing the film The Aerial Phenomenon. And there's a lot to discuss there. And I hope Steve Mumling's watching. Because Steve Mumling, I hope you'll go and watch the film, right? I'd pay for Steve Mumling to watch this damn film. I really would. Hey guys, take it easy. Night night. Thanks very much for watching, everybody, and see you tomorrow.